brings heroes low, and then the Tiny Wisp just come in and clean up, but heading towards the mid game, they will be potent. Secret at the same time with a massive 5-man wombo combo in their own right, and it will be the Yao Shaker Gods. He heads towards bottom, and we are ready to get underway with LGD versus Secret. This is a hype match, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely. This is going to be one of the best series of the tournament as far as just high-quality Dota. Two of the favorites at this point with how they're playing at TI5 itself. As far as which teams you're looking at and worried about moving forward, it's like LGD, Secret, and EG. These, to me, are the big three right now here at TI5.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe let's just see here. We're welcoming in the live stream. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Secret versus LGD. Huge match here in Group A with massive implications for the main event. Should either team win this 2-0, very likely to finish first in Group A. And with that, would get to choose their opponent in the winner's bracket. You win that one match at the main event, you're guaranteed top 6. You're guaranteed over $1 million in prize money at the International 2015. So let's get into it here. We're going to see Secret going back to their DAC picks, the Queen of Pain Shadow Fiend, the big AoE controllers, LGD, with something they ran on day one, the Tiny IO. So excited to see how this works out, and already getting ready for the rune spawns here. Seems like LGD want the bottom rune, probably going to be the ones to snag it, and it'll be Secret taking the top.
Yeah, Queen of Pain S4 gets vigilant. Both teams were fairly defensive with their just positioning at level 1. We didn't see any kind of rotations towards the enemy jungle or any kind of early first blood attempts. So Secret especially were just like huddled by their ancients, not willing to venture out at all. But we'll see how things work out here. Arteezy going to have the rough lane against the IO Tiny, and that's where Kuro, for now, just blocking the mid lane for him, but I think we'll even see Kuro just kind of hang around and help out as much as possible.
Yeah, leaving Shadow Fiend alone against this dual lane is scary. They can just run at you, and if you're not far enough back as the Shadow Fiend, can easily give up a kill around, say, level 3 to 5. So with the Witch Doctor here, secure Arteezy's early farm, help him get that quick bottle out, and just ensure that he's able to get his early CS going. Can also go back, stack the jungle. I think it's definitely the right move here. The Queen of Pain doesn't need help, and Darkseer getting the help that he will need against the Disruptor Gyro. As we were talking about during the draft, it's a scary lane if you just leave the Darkseer alone. If he ever gets glimpsed in the kinetic field, he's dead to the Rocket Barrage follow-up. So they're going with the dual lanes.
Puppy's done his homework. He's been reading his stat stock. Got the immediate D-ward off at top lane, finding Zhao Wei. Kind of an unconventional ward spot as well. It was like right near where the big camp was, and that helps out a lot. Darkseer really loves having that big camp available, and this will make their life a lot easier. Just he's constantly harassing and keeping Zhao Wei low on HP, already forcing out multiple tangos, so this offlane seems to be good for Secret.
And so far, looking at the CS here, a good start for Team Secret, but Zai takes a pounding from the Rocket Barrage, and Sylar sending a warning shot that if you play too aggressive in this top lane, they will make a move on you. There's a Grave, there's a heal, but even through that, you can often run these heroes down, find those early kills with the combo. Got to be careful, and we should probably take a look here at the bottom lane quickly. It looks to be an S4 favored lane heavily, so Queen of Pain versus the Solo Shaker. But Yao is getting his early levels, already hits 3, and definitely not expected to dominate this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I like that Secret's move is just to not give him any support whatsoever in the safe lane S4. They just say, look, he can crush an Earthshaker on his own. Support's helping out mid lane, helping out top lane. MM-wise, gotta be a bit careful, did get the rune, but taking quite a bit of damage here from the Arteezy harass.
Yeah, you can see a little extra investment by Secret in trying to control this middle lane. Not just the dual lane, but even bringing in that top support of Puppy on the Dazzle to either secure the rune or at least put some harassment the way of LGD. And there has been a lot of stacking already, guys, both in the Radiant and Dire big camps. With the IO, no surprises. With the Shadow Fiend, Darkseer, also no surprises. We may not, this looks like a game that could be a bloodbath early or could very easily just turn into a very long-term economy game with both teams really looking to maximize their farm. It's just going to come down to whether or not the teams are finding their openings.
One of the big kind of where the forks that LGD can take is whether or not they get the Blink Dagger on Tiny. If they get any kind of an early game advantage, I think he'll go for it and try and just snowball from there, finding kills. But if it really feels like it's a bit of a stalemate or Secret is slightly ahead, he'll play the farm game and look for the Aghanim Scepter as his first item. We've seen a bit of both coming out from IO Tinies, and it really depends on the tempo of the game.
He's really not farming right now is the worry. As Avalanche comes out, won't connect on anything. Couldn't have gone even if it did with Kuro ready to back up Arteezy, but the CS on this Tiny is leaving quite a bit to be desired. Only 5 creeps. Arteezy sitting at 19 and 8. Of course, as expected, Queen of Pain crushing the bottom lane for S4, 19 and 10. And even the offlane Darkseer of Zai sitting towards the top of the CS charts, 15 and 1. So dare I say it, gods, they are winning 2 lanes convincingly, and the third, they're getting more than you would normally expect out of the Darkseer offlane, thanks to Puppey's support.
Absolutely. This is where this Queen of Pain Shadow Fiend opening is so strong. I think Secret kind of took advantage of the fact that they know they like to run weak laning heroes in the offlane for Yao. Yao doesn't get the kind of dual lane support that a lot of offlaners get this tournament. He's normally down there by himself on an Earthshaker, on a Tusk, on a Clockwork, and Secret's plan is just to
early skirmish. Here we go. Could be the first one. Arteezy looking for the openings here. There is a grave available, and he's going to come in onto maybe. He finds him. Puppey protecting the Shadow Fiend, and now MMY the trade. The chase goes on, and what do you know? A surge forward. He does get flips back. Xiaowei will survive, but mid lane left in shambles. A 2 for nothing, and on top of the early creep advantage, Secret are already in full control of this game.
Absolutely. This is close to 3 lanes won. I guess the top lane's still a bit of a stalemate and just a draw between the Darkseer and the Gyrocopter, both of which are fine. This is going to be tricky. This is not like LGD have a lot of easy ways to turn this game around. Around the time Gyro hits level 7, you can start involving him in fights around the top rune, around the mid lane as needed, but it's not an easy hero to roam with unless you're also bringing the Earthshaker. At that point, LGD are forced to 5-man much earlier than they'd like to, and Secret will just say, well, you want to 5-man, we're going to play the economy game and just out-farm you.
And if you 5-man into Secret once they get their core items, that can easily work against you. You've got the early mech likely coming out here for Zai. Maybe Arteezy the one to pick it up, but either way, they'll have some team fight in short order. And Secret keep the nice pressure mid lane. There is aggression here. Fissure coming in, Avatos. They finally get a kill. Kuroki not able to save Arteezy. That was much needed. Nice rotation from Yao, and considering how tough this bottom lane is, might as well look for the plays elsewhere. Yeah. There was a Radiant Observer ward in the areas. We're going to see a battle of D wards here, but that hill ward about to expire. It's already done its work, and well, they might get the extra 50 gold out of this. Nope, not even that. Kuro says no.
But yeah, that's the kind of place Yao likes to make in general, and it's just unfortunately at the cost of, like, there's been a solo hero getting complete free farm. Queen of Pain topping the CS charts by a big margin, so we'll see what LGD's next move is going to be. But Yao's going to want to keep on getting involved, I feel. He doesn't want to just sit idly leeching experience in this bottom lane.
You mentioned the Gyrocopter moving, and maybe we don't normally see it from Sylar is the thing. We did see it, we've seen it more with Maybe. It definitely feels like with the introduction of Maybe to LGD that Sylar has not, he's no longer really the one position player. Maybe much more reminiscent of how Arteezy was on EG, where he might have gone mid at times and even play like the iconic solo mid heroes or dual lane mid heroes, but was really the carry player for EG, and it feels like maybe he's taking over that role, which is where you'd like to see that aggressive style of Gyrocopter this game. Get Sylar involved early, go for the smoke ganks, maybe give a support the lane top, but it's tough to do that when you see the constant pressure. And Arteezy, he's found the stacks, not only Xiaowei, but also a gigantic pile of creeps. This is something else you have to protect. This is way too much gold to give away. And they are moving in. With the call down onto Arteezy, they want to go, but Zai's able to zone it back. The raise will miss. Fissure blocking up a few. They try to isolate Kuro, but they can't bring him down. The heal is enough. He survives. One less range creep auto attack. Can't get the job done. There's your earn chart. He will survive. They're 5-manning their own neutrals, and they need it, but it's too late. Arteezy's already stolen half of them. He's going to get more. Only 2 big creeps survive the slaughter. They need Arteezy. Have him toss Fissure. They get the kill. S4 even blinks into it, but the Queen of Pain ult to turn it. Maybe neutral's not poking him. He barely makes his way out of this one. And Sylar does find S4 on the backside. They get the 2 fattest cores on Secret. They do miss most of the neutral kit, but at least get some experience. That was definitely a salvage for LGD out of what looked like a terrible situation.
Absolutely, and you can't even, like, that's the right play to go for Secret. Arteezy in the front lanes, if they get the Crave off, that doesn't go as one-sided as it kind of ended up going in LGD's favor. Very much the burst damage of LGD just catching Puppey a little bit by surprise, and a rare miss on the Grave. Arteezy was, I think, banking on having it to back him up there, and
if he gets Grave there, they get slaughtered, honestly.
He can continue to, his raises were coming up any second, so during that Grave, he's throwing 2-3 raises, and LGD are losing heroes.
Well, LGD, this game could have snowballed totally out of control, but they are able to stay in it with that fight, and they make it a pretty close game. 1,000 gold lead for Secret, only about a 1250 experience lead, and so much of the gameplay is going to hinge on maybe what's the item build here. For now, he picks up the completed treads, it looks like, bringing out the magic wand as well for MMY in short order. But does he skip the blink at this point? There's a lot of squishy targets, but they're going to get tankier quickly. The Shadow Fiend normally getting some close stats items early, and potentially we even see S4 go for that early BKB or Ags, and at which point the blink could backfire. If you don't get those kills, you may not really get much value out of it.
Arteezy already committed to the Yoga Club, so he'll be rushing BKB with Zai being able to go for the As you said, they're looking for early stats, early just survivability, and that's where a Blink Dagger on Tiny will kind of come maybe at a time where it's not going to be able to get the easy kills that you'd hope for.
He's not snowballing by any means, but let's go. Secret, their turn to move. They smoke up, Arteezy leading the way, and they think about heading straight towards the bottom lane. Instead, they're going to wrap around here, moving towards the Roshan pit. May try to get a ward up. Yao very low HP, and should he go down, that is the majority of their strong tower defense gone. Just the Ancients warded for now.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of teams forget about the Ancients. Well, there was a couple of games that come to mind. Secret was playing one game where Arteezy was Templar Assassin, the Dire side, farmed a quad stack with a double damager, and suddenly was totally out of control. I believe that was the game where he had an Aegis and got a triple kill after respawning with like a single Deso Daedalus crit. So a couple of Bristleback games as well. Ancients are definitely something you want to keep an eye on here. And well, it might seem like a big commitment using the smoke for that, but considering there's a Tiny Wisp and a Gyrocopter in this game, may allow Secret to pull ahead if they're just looking to play the farm game here.
And also the fact they didn't put the ward above the Roshan on that big cliff means they don't really care about pushing this bottom tier 1 tower, because they could have easily put that ward down and used that vision advantage over the trees, over the bottom tier 1 to apply pressure down here, but Puppey even had 2 wards, so could have blocked the Ancients and warded. Says, nope, we don't care about it, we're going to play our game, sit back, wait till we get our items, and then use our item advantage to be able to take down towers with an Orchid on Queen of Pain, with a BKB on SF. They're not going to rush things.
It's LGD's turn to smoke. They bypass the double damager, and there's no radiant vision of it. They could have gone for it, but they didn't realize. As Zai narrowly misses breaking the smoke, he is going to, but it's in an awkward position. Visor comes through, he's on the right side of it, but doesn't matter. Too much burst damage. Meanwhile, mid lane, MMY's Io was picked off by Arteezy as the trade.
Yeah, they went in on
Witch Doctor.
Io Tiny killed Witch Doctor, Queen of Pain TP'd in with a counter kill.
They want Arteezy. Baby just jumping forward. He's going to get the cross back into the dialogue. That's not where you want to be if you're a Shadow Fiend. Oh, into his waiting arms. A hail of rockets will end Arteezy. LGD showing some excellent aggression here and making up for a slow farming laning stage with some really nice movements here at the 11-minute mark.
Yeah, kills on Shadow Fiend is especially valuable. He's talking the net worth chart well over about 1,000 net worth ahead of the Gyrocopter and even more ahead of the Tiny of Maybe. So important kills going LGD's way.
Yeah, these are farmed cores. You get those kills early and it really does equalize things. The Gyro, they're going to relocate forward, maybe finding the Avatar directly up and down, but there's a grave from Kuro. Coming to try and turn this down, the death ward from Kuro, driving them back. LGD forced to disengage. They may leave the Tiny here. Now they're just going to back off towards mid to go farming. Still they chase on the Puppey. They know the Graves are pulled out. They might want to make a play here. The Rocket Barrage coming through. He can't get out. Fissure cuts off any chance of retreat, but wasn't even needed in the end. LGD taking the fight to Secret, who meanwhile are pushing top with Zai, it looks like. Seems like Secret are waiting on their first round of key items at this point. The Mechlin Zai about to come out. That's the type of item that can turn a fight like that one we just saw bottom.
This is LGD willing to commit as many heroes as possible to make sure fights and just early objectives kind of go their way. In this case, it's just been a few kills here or there. The Disruptor glimpse back on Shadow Fiend there as he TP'd in, very crucial, but for Secret, they're much more about splitting their resources, getting farms on all 5 of their heroes. They're known for having really farmed supports. In this case, it was the Darkseid pushing a T1 tower in the off lane, working towards his mech, and Secret aren't we too worried about like losing a Dazzle bottom there when it's LGD 5-manning and they're getting some ults running.
This bottom lane looks a little dangerous. No TP on Kuro. S4 doesn't want to leave him alone to the Wolves. And now out the courier flies. It is bringing a TP, so he'll have that option. They even have to rotate a third hero in Puppey, but already LGD, they're satisfied with what they got. They back off. Sylar completing the drums, going for that utility early pressure build that we see from a lot of gyrocopters now. Leaving way for maybe to be the hard carry. And now decision time comes, guys. 13 minutes in. It's basically a dead even game here. Only a 1,500 gold lead for Secret. Does he want the blink? Yes, sir, he does. What do you think? Is this gonna work out?
Yeah, it seems to suit maybe his playstyle more. It allows him to be aggressive, go for kills, and as much as he does play more of that one position now as far as farm pressure goes over Silent, he loves to be involved in any and all action. It's the LGD way. If there's a fight going on, all 5 of your heroes are there, so gives him that initiation. Unfortunately, the window for using this on him while Arteezy doesn't have BKB is quickly ending. Arteezy now just a couple hundred away, actually has BKB money, so that means it's not going to be quite as potent for killing him, but if anything, he wants to blow up the Dazzle. He wants to blow up the Witch Doctor. If you go on someone else, they're going to get graved and kept alive. If you can find a Dazzle or a Witch Doctor, that's an insta-KO.
Meanwhile, Secret want to fight around the mech that's been freshly purchased by Zai. Now up to another 700 gold. They don't have the level 2 Queen of Pain ult just yet, and they are rotating 4 all the way through the middle lane. They may run into maybe in a bad position here. 3 in the river. Blink back out. Well, the Blink coming in handy there. Now it's MMY's turn to run, but they don't have a tier 1 top. They get a little bit of vision. He's got a haste run. They both can escape here. LGD wasting a lot of Secret's time, and it looks like they should get out with no casualties. One more Blink into the trees. The TP out. He's got it. Not using it just yet. They're holding for a relocated. They may even go in on Kuro, who's run right by MMY. The haste is there. The cat's not going to bounce on the commitment. Tether's back. They look to engage. The mech is in play, though. He can completely turn the fight. Not sure if LGD got their eyes on it before the fight broke out. Maybe a danger as well for the backside comes Yao. Rushing in with Sylar together. The call down doing work. Zai about to drop his ult. A double off the vent for Sylar. S4 forced to blink. Away they get the tiny but heavy cost for that one, guys. 3 heroes down, including the Darkseer, who just completed his mech. And meanwhile, Arteezy looking for the trade. As he goes on the tower mid, he's going to be giving Requiem this one. He does do a lot of damage. Brings down MMY, not respecting the Requiem, and they even get to the tower as well. When the dust settles, not a terrible trade for Secret, although it looked pretty bad at first.
Yeah, it looked bad at first. Great flank coming from LGD. Io and Tiny bought so much time for backup to arrive. Unfortunately, they still lose the Tiny there. Io trying to heal him up with the tether and the overcharge, but just couldn't quite block enough of the damage there, so didn't go as well as LGD would have hoped for, considering they had kind of positional advantage. They got Io and Tiny out of there. They figured out exactly where Secret had 4 heroes, but they couldn't keep Tiny alive, and then they lose that Wisp as well as T1 Tower mid. Means Arteezy is suddenly looking fantastic. He's got 1,300 gold after the BKB, 2,000 net worth ahead of Silas Gyrocopter. He is really out of control.
And not even mentioning the Tiny in this game, which we have seen Tinies in the past. Historically, they have an Axe by now. They're clearing big ancient stacks. By no means the case for Maybu. Still feels rather far behind the fight, despite all the fights that he has been involved in. As we just saw, the Earthshaker of Yao, this could be the next big item for LGD. He's just about picked up the Blink. In fact, just purchased it. And he is level 8 now, so he's got 2 points in the Aftershock here. But it almost feels like LGD have to fight right now. If they want to play the farm game, they don't really have the farming items. No Helm of the Dominator on the Gyrocopter of Sylar, no Axe on the Tiny. And Shadow Fiend alone is just going to be able to turbo farm way more than these heroes.
Yeah, I don't think you want to get into a full-on farming game against Team Secret right now. Queen of, you've got a window, especially before Queen of Pain really finishes any major item. S4 going to be going for, looks like Hex, not the Orchid. I think just recognizing that both Gyro, Tiny, both going to be BKB carries. And the Orchid is just isn't going to be coming in a timely fashion for S4.
It's so good against Wisp as well. Tries to go for the defensive relocates. If you find the Wisp, oh, there's your Blink in. But Puppy with the quick grave, he was ready for this one. They're going to glimpse him on back. Is there going to be a kinetic field follow? Fissure blocking Puppy away, but it should be enough with, nope, there's the mech. Zai will bail him out. Very nicely played by Secret. Good defensive retreat, and they dodge a bullet. It does force a 4-hero rotation bottom, which allows LGD to put a little extra pressure mid, but look who's wrapping around with an Invis rune. It's Arteezy coming from the north. No sentries in sight. This could be a total disaster for LGD. Let's see if he finds the opening here. He's got the BKB as well. Only a toss to really do anything about it. Oh, but right as he moves, an MMY just happened to be tethering away with Sylar. They have a toss. He doesn't get off the BKB. Yao was ready with the Blink Echo. That is another costly death for Arteezy, who continues to farm out of control, but so much of the value he's gaining is being given right back to LGD by this kill.
Yeah, just kind of weird timing where Arteezy shows himself as the Wisp tethers out. He's thinking, okay, if he's not tethering, I can maybe just quickly double raise and get a quick kill.
Radiant's top tower
and then
is under
the
attack.
combo from LGD to kill him.
Radiant
He had no chance to
structures are
BKB.
fortified.
Unless he preemptively BKBs as soon as Tiny's in range before he blinks, but that's
Radiant's
just like
top
not
tower
really
has
efficient
fallen.
BKB usage, so LGD just capitalizing on maybe a small mistake from Artour.
And it's something you've talked about so often when we've cast together, is that Earthshaker is such a good counter for BKBs. Even though they block pretty much all of the damage from his ultimate, it's the instant stun that can just give you fits as a hero like a Shadow Fiend.
When there's that one carry hero, I mean, everyone's seen the famous Envy clip where it's like he's yelling at his Earthshaker just to blink Echo Slam the enemy gyrocopter. This is the hero. You can instantly just KO and cause so much problems with that blink ulti, killing off enemy cores. In this case, it's going to be the Shadow Fiend of Arteezy who's going to be the main target of the Earthshaker. Yeah, there's a Graves in behind him, but the beauty of this is after the Echo Slam you have a fissure, so that fissure's always going to be headed the direction where Dazzle's waiting for the Grave, so potentially you don't even get that Grave off.
Completed BKB on the way for Sylar Courier, flying out now, I believe. Yeah, there you go. And with that, he gets a whole lot tankier, and the difference for Secret is until they get that Hex, they don't have the same level of blow a hero up potential. This is going to allow LGD to 5-man if they play.
We talked about maybe playing more of a one position, but this is a game where he's actually not really fulfilling that role. He went back and completed drums. It's been Sylar who's actually getting more of the farm this game than the Tiny.
It seems like the way the flow of the game is developing, LGD feel like they can just fight Secret. They've been winning most of the skirmishes. I think it's confidence more than anything. We could farm, and we have great late game, but let's just do what's working. Let's keep on punching and make Secret come to us. They are moving in like they want to go. There's an Observer Ward scouting out Arteezy, but a lot of backup for him. LGD, they might be confident in some of the fights, but this would be a full 5v5 clash, so they want to approach it just right. Maybe moving in from the north, Secret positioned quite well behind the tower. They drop an Observer through the tree line, so not going to be spotted by LGD here, and it's out of range of the sentry in the woods.
They were waiting out the Echo Slam, which just comes back
Here
out.
comes the smoke. This could be tough, though. Sylar, a tough hero to initiate on. They don't have the best lockdown to prevent that BKB, and there's just the threat of a Shaker counterplay with Arteezy and S4 showing like this, and nobody else on the map. LGD are going to back off and force Secret to show themselves.
Yeah, so I don't think
Dire's
Secret can make
bottom
much.
tower is under attack.
Good point you mentioned that. Secret, I mean, this is kind of a classic draft. They don't
Radiant's
actually
middle
draft
tower
normally
is
around
under
having a lot of
attack.
control of disables, but there's no way for them to really
Dire's
jump
top tower is
gyrocopter and
under
kill him,
attack.
but preventing a BKB. They haven't got like a Blink Lion Hex. They haven't got a Blink Echo Slam from an Earthshaker. They only have Witch Doctor cast, which, well, you see coming, you can easily dodge it. That's where S4 is going for this Hex Rush as well. This is going to be the way they can actually gank and take out these kind of core heroes.
Puppey, not where he wants to be. Avalanche toss, dunked by Maybe. That was just too easy. He thought he was safe with the Observer Ward, as well as the Sentry, but guess what? The Sentry is just out of range of the Dire Observer. Bit unfortunate there for Puppey. Ends up going down, but already Secret looking for the trade. Arteezy pressuring the mid lane, forcing out a quick glyph. This is before LGD even starts hammering on that tier 1 bottom, and just good at making the best out of a bad situation is Secret in general, and we see it again here. Not even going for the tower bottom. LGD felt like they could have taken that freely, but because of Arteezy's counterplay mid, they're forced to back off.
Arteezy's in a really deep position.
They have a glimpse.
Courier. No,
they have a glimpse. There's your initiation again from, yeah, they go into the Grave from Puppey. He could turn this. No, he didn't get it off in time. Oh, he could have Grave first, but he went for the weave instead. It's going to cost them heavily, as LGD now can go down mid for a tier 1, even a better tower to take than that tower in the bottom lane. And no way Secret can defend this without their Queen of Pain.
Yeah, Artour went off to the Dire Secret shop trying to snipe the Courier while that was going. I actually thought he was maybe in a bad position to get caught out by another Blink Echo Slam or Tiny combo.
Radiant's middle tower
LGD find a key pick off, get a tower out of it. This is one of the, to me, this is the best team in the tournament when it comes to just taking objectives. They're so good at turning a kill, or even not even a kill. They just find, they force their opponents to move around the map and rotate and just create space for towers to drop. They're just really good at it. It's kind of 5-manning a lot of the time, but they do it in such a way where they never really put themselves in harm's way.
And they have been catching up as far as the farm goes on the back of those objectives. It's not like all they're doing is 5-manning. The Gyrocopter of Sylar, only 30 CS behind Arteezy, which is a much smaller percentage difference than what we saw earlier. Even in the case of Maybe's Tiny, he's not quite there with the enemy Darkseer, and certainly not with Arteezy Shadow Fiend, but he's catching up nicely here, gods, and once he gets the Ags, the farm will accelerate. Suddenly, Sylar with 3,000 gold, maybe closing in on the Aghanims, and here we go mid. Looking at the jumps, there's 5. Abbott wants to start, they're going to relocate to the win. Immediately rushes in. The Death Ward's going to punish the Io off the back. It's Sylar dead. It's a full duration Death Ward, only now canceled out by the Fissure of Yao, but it took too long, and 3 end up falling on the back of it. Kuro making the plays here for Secret. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, just Secret were in position. This is how the fights are meant to go for Secret. Arteezy on the front line with the great protection, and they throw everything at Arteezy. They didn't have anything left to cancel that Death Ward, and a BKB Gyrocopter on the front line is not as scary as you'd hope for when you're tanking a full duration Death Ward.
You've got the minus armor coming out from the now max Shadow Fiend passive. The Death Ward does a lot of work, and the weave starts to tick in over the course of these fights. So something LGD will have to respect, and this may give them pause in the upcoming team fights. And we see Secret, although it's not a reliable team fight, if they get it off, it is every bit as devastating as LGD's.
Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of an awakening for LGD. Like, okay, this Death Ward is actually a big problem. Because of all that minus armor you mentioned from the Shadow Fiend and the Dazzle, you have to make sure that Death Ward isn't on Sylar during his BKB. Otherwise, he's going to melt, because he's fairly squishy to the physical damage. Already he's got to worry about the Shadow Fiend right clicks. You don't want to have him worrying about a Death Ward as well.
Maybe just marching into the enemy woods right past a Radiant Observer. He has eyes on Puppey, who backs off here. Yeah, this is a bold maneuver.
He's like, there's no Requiem.
He doesn't have, only now
no
is anybody even in the neighborhood, but no BKB, just counting on quick reactions with the blink should anyone goes away. Mid lane, meanwhile, all blink forward, looking for MMY, a bit too tanky, or see the buckler. And MMY's done a pretty good job of keeping up this far in this game on the Wisp. Considering how the game started, mech almost complete now. That armor will definitely help versus Secret, maybe even more so than the heal that we normally look at the mech for.
Yeah, that last fight, if he had a mech, could have gone very differently, because at the start of the fight he tanked a lot of damage, almost was able to heal himself back up and stay alive, but just couldn't quite do it. So nice item choice from him. Gyrocopter going to be going for Butterfly, which will help deal with a lot of the physical damage output. It not only gives him the evasion, but also just a little boost to his armor because of all the agility you get. So very important item choice coming out. Even if Sylar's not going to have the most insane damage output, this is going to be far more useful.
And just gives you a lot of bonus armor as well for the agility, which is going to help against the physical damage as the game moves along. So the site device for S4, we haven't seen it yet, gods, but it's only 200 gold away, and this could be big. With this, the IO that we saw die rather quickly last fight may just die before the fight even commences. Let's see if he's able to farm it and what kind of impact it has. That's the kind of playmaking item that they don't really have when it comes to abilities for that instant initiation.
Yeah, they really need it against the BKB carries especially. And Tiny doesn't have one now, but you know, at some point he's kind of making his way towards one, either after his Assault Cuirass or even as his next time after the Ags. You need to have a late game Hex, otherwise they have no control whatsoever for LGD.
This is not a very farm Tiny though, and in fact nobody particularly farmed this game. There's just been so much fighting, good creep scores around the board, but a lot of deaths for pretty much every core. You've got 4 on the Shadow Fiend, 2 on the Tiny, who isn't quite there in terms of the farm department, and as a result, Heroes taking a bit longer to head towards their big beefy items that come out in the mid to late game. Yeah. But we see defensive postures from both teams. Hiding in the trees, the Earthshaker of Yao to the south. Back in the Dire jungle, MMY just sitting behind Sylar. Everybody knows a bad fight here is going to give up a Roche to the enemy squad. And with that, you mentioned how good LGD is at taking objectives. Secret is definitely one of the best teams in the tournament in that department as well. And they're going to try for something here. It's a smoke gambit. Moving straight into Roche. They may just try to sneak it straight up.
Yeah.
And there's actually no Dire vision anywhere nearby. But everybody's missing as well for the Dire, and they have a deep ward here towards bottom. There's even a ping coming out right now for maybe. They may make the move on the pin, but it's going to be a quick Roach. Medallion brings this low. Arteezy should be prepared to grab this Aegis up. He gets bashed at the wrong moment. They may even just jump in blindly. They did need a mice here. Oh, that's too late. The Fissure just split second. Slow. Shao 8 almost got them vision with that kinetic field, but wasn't quite in time. If that took 3 to 4 seconds longer, LGD may have just gone in with guns a-blazing.
Yeah, it was a clever Roshan too, because neither team's really been in a position to take Roshan all game long. Even then, Secret weren't in a position to take Roshan by like...
They did it anyway.
Yeah, they did anyways. It was like a Cloud9 style Roche where they smoke in and try and use the fact that it's a surprise to not get detected. And LGD kind of figured out eventually, but by then it was too late. Similarly, LGD have not been in a position to go for Roshan, despite having two decent physical damage carries in Tiny and Gyrocopter. They just have, neither team can really put themselves in that position where they're in the pit and you've got a big initiating heroes in like the Darkseid, the Urshik, and you can just get the jump on you.
With the Aegis, let's see what Secret look to do here. Maybe just farming out the bottom lane. Arteezy swinging towards top. He has opted for a Sanjin Yasha after the BKB. Looks like he's just tanking up against the burst damage as much as possible.
They're grouping up as 5 at top. Secret.
They're looking to fight here. The butterfly next instantly. There's the reveal. Quick relocate out by Momaya. He was ready for that. They will lose the Wisp, most likely, but well worth it to save the Gyrocopter.
Spend your money. Oh, it's all on.
And I believe that was also the reveal of the Hex as well.
Yeah, unless maybe they scattered it in Roshan or something, but
they're going to push on with no Wisp, no buyback for 40. LGD most likely just counter push here. They've already got bottom lane. Maybe it's Tiny barreling towards the tier 2.
They'll pressure mid, pressure bottom. This is not too bad a position to be in for LGD. They'll have to give up their tier 2 top, but they can get some damage on bottom, get some damage on mid.
Unfortunately, it's a Tiny, so this doesn't take very long.
Yeah, they're actually pushing just as fast the bottom lane as the top lane's being pushed by Secret. So
let's see, is there a Dire Glyph available here? They do have one.
They want to save it for the high ground, I think, because there's a legitimate here comes Secret. They're going to force TPs back by poking at the tier 3 tower and maybe even look to commit to a high ground siege here.
How does Secret get in here? They do have the Blink Hex capabilities. They get some eyes on Arteezy, throwing out a bit, hoping miss out. Ideally, they'd love to bait out that BKB, but Secret will just calmly focus the missile down. And now they've got the IO of MMY back. No relocate just yet, though. It should be cooling down in relatively short order. 1 second and counting. Now they go. On Arteezy, doesn't BKB. Very patient. I feel like a lot of carry players in that position would just panic, insta BKB, and then any chance of pressure is over for over a minute. But
and good play from LGD. You've got to just use that combo, get SF down to half HP, because that's how you're going to stall the push. He doesn't want to throw his Aegis away for nothing, so you have to just get whatever free damage you can on that Aegis pushing carry. And Secret decide, well, they're just going to keep doing that. We're going to back off, otherwise we're kind of wasting our time here. As much as they'd like to be able to get a tier 3 tower in racks with this Aegis, once LGD and 5 alive again, it just wasn't going to be possible.
It feels like Secret are about to hit a really good timing. Kuroki has the level 2 Death Ward. He's almost completed the Ags. Somehow Kuroki always finds this farm. I mean, you look at the hero that he's on, and it doesn't feel like a Witch Doctor should be able to farm the way some of Kuro's other signature heroes do, but somehow he always finds a way. And with that Ags, the level 2 Weave also in play, all the minus armor they have through the Death Ward, and Arteezy about to get his next big item up to 4.3k. That could be the opportunity to go for a high ground push, but now Showing caught out. This is big if they can find him. He glimmers and tries to run away. They have detection and they will bring him down. Quick pick there for LGD. And it's going to be up to, for Secret, it's going to be up to LGD to back off. Yao gets caught mid. Oh, this is the one they can't afford. Losing to support's one thing, but Yao's dead for 45, and Gods, he doesn't have a buyback. Good news is mid lane has been shoved deep towards the tower.
Yeah, I feel like both those pickoffs are a bit sloppy from LGD. The first one was just good Secret response. As soon as they see the dewarding happening, they take the jump. But Yao, he knew where they were. He knew they could just blink and get to him quickly, but didn't really respect the initiating power of Secret.
It's the Scythe of Vice. It's been the difference maker here. Top lane, Vac wall thrown out
TP
to discourage LGD, and that means they'll be lacking a hero for the base
Neither
defense.
hero has TP.
Creeps are coming in right now. They're going to raise up the top lane and focus on mid. It looks like Sylar sprinting back. Fortunately, he's got the butterfly, activates it immediately, but he may not have evasion for this upcoming fight. We'll see if it cools down in time. Arteezy, there's the Thunderstrike onto him. Respawning in a moment is Yao, and they do get eyes on Sylar. The Hex again, they've trapped him outside the base. Puppy was expecting the walk back, and Sylar tries to run. He's even committed a BKB, but the Queen of Fatal, and right clicks from the Shadow Fiend of Arteezy, enough to bring him down. Again and again, Secret finding the picks, and all of it on the back of this Scythe of Vice from S4. What a difference this pickup has made.
That and the vision too. Like first they canceled the TP back at top, and he had to walk back to fix. He walked on board, so
they're going to go down. And a toss on Arteezy, trying to stall this out, but he just stands and continues to deliver. Now a completed Eye of Scotty up, muscling his way in towards the LGD base, and they're able to force out a very crucial buyback. And again, the Hex catches out MMY. He's going to die on the backside. They need something for this, but the Death Ward of Kuroki, they've got no way to stun him. Finally, they'll disable it. LGD self-destructly going for this composure in both games. Not having it here. Secret just finding opening after opening, chunking down Sylar next, driving him back into the base, and they won't let him escape. It's the dive back on the gyro. It's an old drummer Arteezy. It might just be game right here, right now. Again, the blades feel of Arteezy. He's feeling confident, swags towards the well, and they get the GG. Secret, so many outplays in a series of 3 to 5 minutes, when before that it was back and forth, dead even. All of a sudden, the switch flips, and it's all Secret all the way.
Yeah, it was 28 minutes, 29 minutes of just dead even Dota. And from that Roshan sneak onwards, Secret just outplayed them, found pick after pick. First the Disruptor at the Ancients, then they found Yao in the mid lane, then they prevented the TP's top.